maybe a little bit of both?
In my opinion, they're the spirits, and that's just the way they're showing themselves. I think a lot of it has to do with the location, where what the location is. This is just a theory,
Right.
but we're in different locations where we're seeing. See, when we go to a location, we study like what the location is made out of, what's under the ground, everything, to try to compile this evidence and try to build a file and say, okay, we're catching this here, and it had these type of minerals in the ground. We're capturing this here, and it had this kind of mineral in the ground, or it was made of this. The building's made of limestone, or the building's made of quartz, or whatever, And we're seeing that some of these places. I think a lot of it has to do with the atmosphere and the location and what's actually environmental around it, why you're seeing them the way you're seeing them. So if you're seeing shadow figures, I mean, and like I said, this is all theory. A lot of times we're seeing the locations that are made of granite, or they have high composites of a certain mineral in the ground and things of that nature. And I think it's all has to do with the way what's under the ground, what the property is built of, like the building itself. And this is the reason you're seeing them this way. Now, you might see the same if this building was made of another type of material and there was another type of mineral in the ground, you might see them as a full body apparition. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. So pretty much you have found a correlation between maybe water, quartz, limestone, or granite, or whatever variables are around the property, so to speak. And so you found correlations
right.
to line up with the spirits.
Yeah. Yes. It's like a location we were doing not long ago. I mean, people in this location are seeing these not so much shadow people, but these figures that look like a mist. And not just one person has seen them, many people have seen them. And we're finding out there's these high levels of a certain mineral underground. I don't want to say because I don't want to give too much away. It's it's going to be on season 2, and we're wondering the reason people are seeing them like this mist type figure, not a shadow figure or a full body apparition, is because of what's in the ground and what these buildings are made of, and the certain type of mineral that's everywhere, in this location. So it's just you start putting things like that together, and you're starting to see it, from location to location to location. There's got to be some kind of correlation to it, and why there's this weird thread. Why it's like that, where some places you'll go and you'll see a full body apparition, or the client will see a full body apparition, but they're not seeing shadow figures, they're not seeing anything else. So, sometimes it's residual, of course, and residual is just, like anybody in paranormal knows, it's basically a tape just playing itself over and over and over again. It doesn't know you're there. It has no contact with you. It just goes about its business because it's just doing its thing every day, the same time every day, or the same time every year, or whatever you're seeing this thing. But you're seeing, this thread where certain locations and have the same type of mineral, built of the same thing, they're seeing a shadow figure, or they're seeing this mist-like figure. It's just something, like I said, it's a theory. We're trying to put it together. It may mean something, it may not mean something, but it's furthering the field. It's asking questions that probably a lot of people have not asked before.
It only makes sense because think about it. Of course, it's only theories, but if spirits are trying to manifest, and depending on the location, what's there, limestone or a lot of water or whatever it may be, that could alter how they appear. And I think that's a good theory. And what I'm thinking was scientifically, wonder if you could add to that, maybe take in a Tesla coil or a Faraday cage or something to maybe try to see if you get different results. Have you guys ever thought about something like that?
Well, we do. You'll see some of the new season. We have a very large Tesla coil we use. It's probably like 2 or 3 foot tall, and it's a big Tesla coil. We'll bring it to some of these larger locations, and just you charge the atmosphere for a while, and then we'll investigate, and we will see definite changes in the atmosphere once you do that. You'll get more responses. You'll start hearing more things. Because basically what you're doing is you're like, again, once it's a theory as well, you're charging the atmosphere. You're giving the spirit or entity or whatever. You're giving it basically energy to do these things. A thing I like to do a lot of times, I carry a mag light on me. It's a tack light, and what I'll do is sometimes if we're not getting any responses, I'll turn that tack light on and I'll set it in front of whatever we're using, piece of equipment, and say, hey, borrow the energy from that, borrow the energy from the camera, whatever you need to do. And a lot of times you'll see these drains in battery where the flashlight has brand new batteries in it. I change that battery usually before every investigation, and it just kills the battery on the flashlight. And once the activity is done, that it comes right back. It's very strange. It's like it's just borrowing it for a moment and to do what it has to do, and it basically goes right back to it. We'll see cameras that'll drain, excuse me, and then once the investigation's over, the camera battery is like almost fully charged again. Things of that nature.
Yeah, that's some weird stuff. I know I was on a couple investigations just last year, and it totally killed my cell phone. Like it fried my motherboard. If that's so, yeah.
You got to watch, especially if you use a Tesla coil. You really. A lot of people don't realize if you use a Tesla coil or anything like that, you don't want to have a cell phone anywhere near. It will kill it'll basically burn your phone up. I usually don't carry my phone on me investigations, just because I don't want the interference. I don't want to be distracted by my phone going off or anything of that nature. But that's one thing you got to watch out for.
Yeah, I found that out. I just had it off had it in my pocket. I would turn it all the way down, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, have you, in all your years of investigating, have you ever been pushed, bit, or scratched, or anything along those nature?
I've been pushed. Trying to think how many times. At least once that I can remember. I was doing an investigation in Kentucky at a location that was well known for being very, I don't know, I don't want to say violent, but very active, and people have been, basically attacked. This is not on the show. This is before the show, and I was actually basically pushed through a chair onto the floor, and I didn't see anything. I heard it. I heard it charge me. I could hear the footsteps run toward me. I was sitting in a chair, and I felt this like rush of energy. I didn't feel anything actually contact me, but this rush of energy. And the next thing I know, I'm laying on the floor. The chair is basically flat where I crushed it, and I'm sitting in pitch black. I don't have my flashlight. I don't know where my flashlight went. I don't know where anything went. So, I've been pushed before. I've seen an investigator get slapped, which we actually caught on camera, and you could hear the slap, and you could hear the footsteps walk up to this person and slap the female investigator at the time. I've been on investigations like that.
Now, I got to ask you, when the poor lady got slapped, how did she take that?
Oh, well, she was doing something she shouldn't have been doing. She was taunting, which I never suggest anybody do. And I told her, do not do this in a certain property. We were in Ohio at a location that was at one time a brothel and a speakeasy, and it was ran by gangsters back in the the 20s and 30s, and she was being smart and sarcastic and taunting whatever was there. And you can actually, we heard it in the moment, but we actually caught it on camera too. These footsteps stomp across the room, and you hear a smack, and then you see her just drop to the ground.
Wow.
So we basically had to pick her up and get her out of there. And I warned her. I said, "Do not do that." And she kept going, and that's what happened. I've told a lot of people throughout the years, be careful what you do. You get what you get back sometimes, and if you're provoking, especially at certain places, I won't say the names, but there's a couple places in Kentucky and all over the country that you might not want to do that. You're going to get slapped or scratched or bit or something, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Taunting is that's something we do not do on the show. Now, sometimes I mean we get into the moment, but that's one thing we do not do. We do not taunt. It's just it's disrespectful for one thing. You don't know who you're taunting for one thing. You could be taunting somebody's grandmother who passed away 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So you just don't do that. It's not the right thing to do. To get a rise out of a spirit like that it's dangerous, and it's disrespectful.
It is because, and I know Grant and how his theory is, and he very rarely I've seen him provoke, maybe a couple times just because he wanted to prove something that maybe was more evil years ago. But usually he's very respectful. I know his mindset, and I agree with him. You know, it could be like you just said, somebody's grandmother. Would you want somebody to disrespect them? They're just human spirits. They were human once too.
Yeah,
so, yeah. I totally agree with you.
Which 99.9% of spirits are. They're just human spirits. That if they were just human, just like us, and they're here for whatever reason, they didn't move on, or none of us know what the whole afterlife thing is. We have our speculations on that and theories on that, but it's most likely a human spirit you're talking to, somebody who lived life, and had a family, whatever, and they died, and it'd be like you at the grocery store yelling at somebody for no reason. You just don't do it. It's not right, and you don't do it. Yeah, Grant's very respectful. I've investigated with the guy a lot, and he's very respectful every time he walks into a location.
Yeah, he is 100%. I agree with you. And again, I think there's a big misconception out there. A lot of people, right away, they go, "Oh, it's an evil spirit." But you know what? I found in my travels, 9 out of 10, they're not evil. They're just maybe frustrated, earthbound spirits that's just trying to get your attention. And think about it. If 9 out of 10 people can't hear, feel, or see you, and you're trying to get their attention, you might get frustrated. Maybe do anything to get their attention. And maybe push or scratch them, but you're not trying to be hateful or mean. You're just trying to get their attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the ones you run into that are more aggressive usually aren't evil. They were probably bad people in life, and they're bad people in the afterlife. They're not evil. They're just that's
right.
The way they were. If you're a good person in life, you're most likely going to be a good person in the afterlife, and vice versa. Bad person going to probably be bad, and that's just they could have been just being aggressive, whatever. And a lot of times you have people who are getting scratched and things of that nature. A lot of times, in my opinion, that's just them trying to contact you or tell you something, but they're not meaning to hurt you. It's just how it comes across. It's like you're playing with a puppy and a puppy bites you, or it's a little too rough with you. It's not trying to hurt you. It's just you come back with your bite marks on your hands because it's just trying to make contact with you.
Right, and I know, and I've heard Grant over the years. He tried to explain that to people because a lot of people freak out. They think the worst right away. They think the worst, and you too. I see you on there trying to explain to the people, hey, it's not what you think. It's just somebody trying to tell a story or something. Relay a message. We don't know.
Yep, trying to give you a message or whatever. A lot of people are. Homeowners get freaked out, because something's touching them in the middle of the night, or they're seeing things. Usually, a lot of times, it's just they're going about their business, this spirit, or they're trying to tell you something, or they're not trying to hurt you. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's not the case at all.
I agree totally. Let me ask you something. And I asked a few people this, but orbs. What's your take on orbs?
I think a lot of orbs can be...
That's $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the picture... I've only seen one real orb my entire life. I mean, and it wasn't even on an investigation. And I think it was more something to do with an environmental thing going on. A lot of the orbs you see in pictures, you'll see them on social media and things like that. They can be explained very easily as moisture or dust or bugs or whatever. Now, I'm sure there are. I've seen light anomalies before. I've seen entire rooms just light up for no reason, and the lights don't even come on. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it happened. Yeah, I just think orbs have been blown out of proportion. I think people are starting to catch on to that. I think people are smartening up to that, and they're not. It's not like it was 10